Hello everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, ichino-ani. Today is October 27th, a lovely Monday. As you know, I found a super interesting article from the archive that I just have to share with all of you. The title is Vamos, a Hierarchical Vision Language Ichino-Ani and Steerable Navigation. Ooh, that's a long one, isn't it? It's like a tongue twister. The curl is also a bit of a mouthful. Or a sieve. Or Gatuni Fab 10.20,818 fun. But don't worry, I've read it all, so we can learn about it together. So, let's think about robots. Imagine you have a robot that helps you around the house. It's a big challenge to teach a robot how to get from one place to another without bumping into things. This is called navigation. Now, here's the really tricky part. There are all sorts of different robots, right? Some have wheels, like a little toy car, and some have legs, like a robot dog. A robot dog can climb up the stairs no problem, but a real robot, well, it would just get stuck at the bottom. So if you teach a robot using data from a robot dog that loves climbing stairs, that knowledge is totally useless for the poor little wheeled robot. It might even be dangerous if it tries to copy the dog. This is the big problem this paper is trying to solve. How can we use all the amazing data from lots of different robots to teach any robot how to navigate, while still remembering what that specific robot can and can't do? It's like trying to make one single recipe book. That works for both a master chef and someone who only has a microwave. It's tough. So the clever researchers came up with a new system they call Vamos. And Vamos like a team with a boss and a very specialized worker. The boss is a super smart AI, called a Vision Language Model, or VLM for short. This boss has studied tons and tons of data from all kinds of robots. In all kinds of places, indoors, outdoors, everywhere. So, it has a really good general idea of how to get around. When you give the robot a goal, like go to the kitchen, the boss looks at what the robot's camera sees and says, "Oh, okay, I see a few ways to get there." It then draws out a few different possible paths, like a GPS showing you a few different routes. Now, this is where the special worker comes in. This worker is called an Affordance Model. That's a fancy word, but it just means it knows exactly what its own body can do. Each robot gets its own personal worker. So, for the wheeled robot, its worker looks at the paths from the boss and says, "Well, path number 1 goes right up the stairs. I can't do that, so that's a no-go. But path number 2 goes around and uses the ramp. That's perfect for me, let's do that one." This little worker model is trained safely in a computer simulation, so it learns its own limits without ever breaking anything in the real world. So Vamos cleverly splits the work. The big brain boss does the general planning, and the small, specialized worker makes sure the plan is actually possible for its specific robot body. Isn't that a neat idea? Now you might be wondering, how is this useful in our daily lives? Well, let me give you a few examples. First, think about delivery robots. You see them more and more these days, right? Some might be small wheel carts, while others might be legged robots that can handle curbs and steps. With Vamos, a company could manage a whole fleet of different robots using one central planting system. The system would find general routes, and each robot's personal worker would adapt that route to its own abilities. The wheeled bot would stick to sidewalks, while the legged bot could take a shortcut over a grassy hill or up some stairs. This makes everything way more efficient. Second, let's imagine personal helper robots in our homes or in hospitals. Maybe you have a simple wheeled robot that helps bring you things on one floor. Later, you get a new, advanced legged robot that can go upstairs. With this Vamos system, you would need to install completely new software. The main boss brain would be the same. You'd just swap in a new worker-legged robot, and would instantly understand, "Hey, I can climb stairs now." It makes upgrading and using different robots so much easier. And for a third example, think about searching rescue missions after an earthquake. Rescuers could send in a team of different robots. A small, wheeled robot could explore flat, open areas. A legged robot could climb over piles of rubble. The Vamos system would allow a single commander to plan paths for all of them. The system would suggest a path, and each robot would decide if it's safe for them to take it. This ensures each robot is used to its full potential safely. So how does Vamos compare to other technologies? Well, the old way of doing things is called a modular stack. This is like building a robot's brain with separate Lego blocks. One for seeing, one for planning, one for moving. It works, but it's very rigid. You have to tune every single piece perfectly for one specific robot and one specific place. If you change anything, you have to rebuild it. Almost is way more flexible, because you only need to swap out the small, easy-to-train work of art. Then there's the super Nusu approach. These giant AI models that try to learn everything all at once. We're powerful, but they can get confused if you show them data from a stair, random robot and a wheeled robot. A model might try to tell the wheeled robot to climb stairs, which ends in a crash. It avoids this confusion by keeping the general knowledge separate from the robot's physical skills. It's a really smart balance, getting the best of both worlds. It uses the power of big AI for general understanding, but adds a crucial layer of self-awareness for each individual robot. And because it's a vision language model, you can even give it simple text commands to steer it, like, let's say on the grass. Eliminate the path on the right. How cool is that? So Vamos is a big step towards creating smarter, more adaptable robots that can navigate our complex world, no matter what shape or size they are. What an exciting time to be learning about technology. That's all for today's trending article. I hope you had fun learning with me. Until next time, this was ichino-ani. Bye bye.